All right, let's watch this video about why you can't pick a game to play.
How many of you have gotten off of work or school and you sat down to game, you only have an hour or two, and you cannot decide what to boot up and what to play?
So this is a phase that I was in for quite some time at one point in my life, and I have not experienced this for a while. I feel like nowadays I always have something that I want to be playing, and when I don't have anything that I want to be playing, I sort of just let myself not play anything. It's really interesting the way people put so much importance on the game that they're playing to give them an immediate reward out of playing it. And that's the reason that I think that people primarily have a hard time deciding what game to play, is because they are expecting an experience that is probably just not going to come from them playing that game in general.
You sit there.
Like, most games aren't going to be amazing. Most games aren't going to blow your freaking mind. By the way, my hair is a fucking crazy fluffy mess right now because I took a shower and I can't figure out how to get it to lay right. So this is the problem that I'm experiencing right now. But I think that people just like want every single game that they play to be something that carries them through the rest of their life, that they just fall in love with and they can make a career out of playing and maybe become a content creator for it and do all these things. When at the end of the day, gaming is just a hobby that is there to waste your time, and that's totally okay. You can enjoy playing something without it being your entire personality. You can play a game for a little bit. What the fuck is my hair doing? You can play a game for a little bit and then you can just stop playing that game. And that's totally fine. And people just have a really hard time. We're just going to go with this. People just have a really hard time remembering that nowadays. Like, everybody wants to find the thing they're going to post 30 fucking clips on their Instagram channel of, and that's just not what we used to do with games. That's why you don't like games anymore, because you're trying to run this min-max software in your brain about how you're going to do things, and it's just never going to pan out for you.
Looking at your Steam library. So many games you've never tried from Steam Sales Pass, or maybe Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, wherever you play, and you just cannot decide what to put the time into. You know this 1 hour is precious. You know
it's
you
really
need
not.
It to reach.
You think that this 1 hour is precious because right now it feels really, really important to you. In this moment, you know that this 1 hour is the only free time that you're going to have to enjoy doing a hobby that you love doing a whole lot. But if you think about the fact that over the aggregate of the next year of your life, you're going to have 356 of those hours, probably more because of weekends, so let's just round it up to 500. 500 hours of game time. Is 30 hours of your life really that important? What are you going to do with this 30 hours otherwise? If you don't pick the right game, is there really a reality where you're going to absolutely pick that right game? Probably not. Just play the game. Log in and do it. If you don't enjoy it, play another game. I'll have days where I play 3 or 4 games in 1 hour because I just can't click into any one of them. And what I'm doing is searching. I'm searching for the game that I'm going to be playing for the next week or two of my life. Right now, it's been Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves. Those two have caught me a lot. I just came off an ESO kick. When I had COVID, I played ESO for like 27 hours over the course of 3 days or something like that. And it was epic. I did scrying all the way through. I finished the entire Necrom DLC, which I haven't done since I purchased it up on release. I just never ended up playing it because I fell out of that game after that. So I finished everything in the Necrom DLC except for Master Angler, scrying every single thing, because I haven't scryed every single thing in it yet. And then I did... I haven't done the duo dungeon mode or whatever.
Charge your batteries, because school, work, whatever it is coming again tomorrow. You end up staring at the screen and eventually just pull up YouTube, binge, and then your hour's gone, and you kind of feel horrible.
Yeah, pulling out that phone is a
this
dangerous
happen?
thing.
And I want to talk with you about it because this has been happening to me recently. Is it the fact that you're getting older?
No.
Is it nostalgia?
No, you'll never
I'm
grow
gonna
out of your
sort
hobbies.
of break down my thoughts and opinions on this. Now, I've been pretty sleep deprived lately. I've started.
You are put into a situation currently to where you're made to believe that playing a video game is actually something important that you're doing with your life, and that choice really, really matters. That just having enjoyment is not enough anymore, but the game has to check off 100 different boxes. Everything from, is it popular? Does it have a good community? Is it politically aligned with the things that I agree with? Is it liked by the people that I like? Will my friends play it with me? All of these different boxes. You know, can I make a career out of this video game? And all of those things are what's leading you down this path that's making you absolutely miserable while playing games. If you remember back to when you were a child, you played a game because it absolutely captured you, because for a while you were living in it. For me, the first game that I can remember playing hundreds of hours of has got to be Kingdom Hearts, honestly, that was the first game that I ever experienced that made me just play it until I beat it. And then once I beat it, I needed to get level 100. And then once I got level 100, I had to beat Sephiroth. And once I beat Sephiroth, I was just going around doing all kinds of crazy stuff, finding every optional boss, going through the strategy guide, replaying the game over and over again on harder difficulties. That game absolutely captured me in a way that very few things had up until that point. And that's when I realized what video gaming was to me.
Working nights, everything's super expensive, and so my time for gaming in the last 3 weeks has been very compressed. And I literally have gone through the scenario I just described, where I know I've got an hour available. It's a precious hour. And yet I cannot figure out for the life of me what to boot up. I want to get the maximum enjoyment.
Here's the question that you're asking. Here's the question that everyone on the internet is collectively asking about video games nowadays. What game should I play? What game should I play? One single game. What game should I play? When I was a kid, I had a stack of PS1 games, and I would play every single one of them. When I would get bored of ones that I knew that I loved, like Tomba 2 or Mega Man Legends, or any of these games that I was really, really enjoyed with, really enthralled by, Final Fantasy VII, all those things, I would start playing old ones. I would play that Team Rocket game for the PlayStation 1 that was literally almost impossible to play because of how terribly it controlled. I would go back and I would play Blasto, which was a game that was unbelievably difficult. Sorry, I trimmed my beard up and now hair is just like hooking into my mouth. I would play these games all of the time. And I would play whatever was available to me that I hadn't just burned myself out on in an insane amount. And that's what made me really hone myself into video games. And nowadays people want one single video game. Should I play 10,000 hours of World of Warcraft? I don't know, dude. Maybe you shouldn't play 10,000 hours of any single one game. I know that it's worked out for a few other people, but maybe that's mental illness that you're talking about. Maybe that's the possibility that you need to look into, that video games are things that are meant to be enjoyed for an aggregate amount of time that is value based on dollar. So the way that I always compare it to is that it cost me about $10. It's probably more like $13 now to go to a movie. I haven't gone to a movie for a long time. But if $13 buys me about 2 hours of enjoyment, and I spend $60 on a video game, or $20 on a video game, or $15 on a video game, I should get an amount of enjoyment out of it that is comparable to that amount of money that I spent versus what the movie cost me. So if it's $13 for a movie and I spend $60 on a video game, then let's just say that's about 4 movies worth of money that I just spent on that video game. I should get about 8 hours of really top tier enjoyment out of it, and then everything after that 8 hours is just a gift that I've been given to keep on having a good time with the money that I spent.
Enjoyment out of this time, because I know it's so limited. And as such, when I look at the list of
games... And that's the thing. I mean, the time is the valuable thing to us nowadays, right? We're looking to maximize all of these hours in our lives. But if gaming was a real thing that you absolutely wanted to do, you would make time for it. And it's okay to let your hobbies lapse a little bit. I know that it's a weird thing as someone who covers a lot of video game stuff to be on here telling you that maybe it's time for you to take a break from video gaming, but sometimes it's just a time to take a break from video gaming. That's totally cool, dude. I'm not going to be angry at you because you're taking a little bit of time away from your hobby, because you're not in a Fortnite lobby every single night trying to get better and better and better. Like, maybe you're somebody who has this mental idea in the back of your head, this block where you think, okay, I'm telling everyone else that I'm not actually trying to be a professional gamer, but deep down, that's what I want to do. And you're putting this burden on yourself to have to play this one game to get specifically good at it so that you can make some kind of living at it. But at the end of the day, what you're trying to maximize for is your enjoyment doing the thing that you want to do. And if that thing is video gaming, it should be relatively easy for you. And just because you don't have a game right now that's pulling at you super hard, like, that's a gift, bro. There are times in my life where I know that it's absolutely worthless for me to do schoolwork because all I can think about is playing World of Warcraft, because all I can think about is playing SO, because all I can think about is maxing out my Fortnite Battle Pass or playing, whatever game that I'm hooked on right now. That's the only thing that matters to me. And whenever I don't feel that way, I'm like, bro, I'm going to the gym, dude. This is thank goodness I am not addicted to a video game right now in a way that I can't get out of my head.
I begin putting a bunch of pressure on myself. And that pressure makes me even less motivated as I'm sleep deprived to ultimately make a choice. Sometimes when we're presented with way too many choices, it's been shown that our human psychology just gets overloaded and we can't make a decision. We get stuck
super
in
true.
analysis paralysis. And for many people,
I
you've been
agree with
gaming
that.
a long time, your library can get big.
You only have so many decisions that you can make in your day, and every single little tiny decision that you make, it chips off of that total number. So as you keep going, your decision making will get worse and worse, and then eventually you won't be able to make any more decisions. You ever have that thing where you get off work and you're just trying to figure out what to eat for dinner, and you absolutely can't? Like your brain is just like, well, I could eat, what could I eat? I don't want to do that. No. And you just can't do it. You can't think of what you want because you're just so burned out from all the decisions you made throughout the day.
Very quickly. It doesn't
Pick your game early on in the day. That's a great tip. Pick your game early on in the day.
mean that you don't enjoy games or that you just don't know how to have fun anymore. It just means that the pressure is overwhelming you, especially when
Before you go to work in the morning, decide what game you're going to play that night and get hyped up for it so that you can be ready to play it when you get home. I'll do that all the time. I'll be out working, dude. I'll be out there going into the grocery mines and just working, and I'll be sitting there just all day just thinking like, man, when I get home and I play Elder Scrolls Online, dude. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to do that. Man, when I get home, I'm going to play some Wuthering Waves. Man, when I get home, I'm going to play some Final Fantasy 14. Man, when I get home, you know what? I haven't played Spyro in forever, and I have the Spyro Reignited trilogy. When I get home, I'm going to play some Spyro. That sort of thing, man. Hype yourself
when
up
you're
for it.
tired. You know, you don't want to take a chance of picking something that you don't enjoy or like. What if you wasted that 1 hour? And this leads us to indecision. Now, I used to play StarCraft 2 a lot. When I was in college, loved Halo. But
You will never hear a person complain about this who doesn't play video games with an exorbitant amount of their free time. Somebody who just owns a PS5 and they have like Madden and Call of Duty on it, like they know what they're going to play if they feel like playing. I feel like playing some Madden today. It's a Madden machine, bro. That's what it does. It's the people like us who play video games for way more hours than is reasonably responsible in the modern world to do. That's who's suffering from this problem. This guy playing way too much StarCraft is so unsurprising.
at the time, Halo was being taken off of the MLG circuit around Halo 4 time. And around that same timing, StarCraft 2
MLG.
was
Do you remember
becoming
when
the
people would have
darling
MLG in their gamer tags? Do you remember when kids at your school would tell you that they were MLG? That's a nostalgia bomb for me, man.
of MLG and also Twitch and
Xbox 360 was a golden era of gaming in my life, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I knew when I was playing PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 that was for sure going to be a golden era of gaming. Like, I just knew playing Final Fantasy X that this was a special experience. I knew playing Kingdom Hearts that this was a special experience. And as I got older, I could connect with other people on those games. But I had no idea at the time the way that people were going to absolutely go nuts on the Xbox 360. Playing games like Ninja Gaiden, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Skyrim when it finally came out, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Halo 3. The amount of games that were coming out at that time that captured new markets in a way that they never had. I mean, you went from video games being a nerdy thing to video games being a thing that was just a given that you were doing. I mean, especially if you were a guy, it was assumed that you played video games.
Justin TV
And you
at
had
the
an
time,
Xbox
and then
360.
ultimately it turned into Twitch. And I loved StarCraft 2, but it is a game where you have to make hundreds of
I wonder if anybody will look back at PS4 or PS5 as being a golden age of gaming. I can't imagine. The lines are so frayed now. Everything is the exact same. There is no console wars. Everything is a glorified PC. And all of the games are just how do you play this game and where do you play it at? Do you play it on your couch or do you play it in a chair? Are you an Xbox person who has stayed an Xbox person or do you own a PlayStation? But nothing actually matters about. You can't tell anything about what type of gamer somebody is from the console or the how they play games, the machine that they use to run their games.
choices every single minute. In fact, they measure the choices and the actions that you make in a term called APM.
Sorry, I got
StarCraft
off
2,
of what
but
he
it
said.
is a game where you have to make hundreds of choices every single minute.
Totally.
In fact, they measure the choices and the actions that you make.
Most
in
MMOs
a
are like
term
that,
called
though.
APM.
And this is an MMO, but
actions
you know
per
what I mean.
minute.
I play a lot of MMOs.
Crazy
so
good
compared to
pro
that.
players will consistently play at like the 300 to 400 mark, sometimes jumping up. Now, every action, is considered like a clip.
Well, that's like League, right? You often hear a lot in League about people showing how good they are at how much gold they can farm per minute. When you get up into the hundreds of, or is it hundreds or is it tens? I think it's 10 gold per minute. I can't remember. I haven't played League for a while now. When you get up into the higher numbers, then you start to like. There's so many guides on the internet of how to farm more gold in League, how to get your elo up, all these kinds of things. And that's just solely about how many actions you're pumping into every single minute. How many proper, good decisions are you making every single second of this game that you're playing?
Click or a box or building a building, selecting a resource. But when you watch a talented pro, you really do see that they're making hundreds of decisions in such a small time frame.
Not
And
a
you know
sponsor.
what? A lot of times they make the wrong decision. When they're under such immense pressure in a game like StarCraft,
Yeah, man. I mean, everyone makes bonehead decisions. I think it's so funny the way that when I was younger, I think I was really holding on to this idea of being a perfectionist, of being someone who could be perfect. And then I was thinking about this the other day. You know how when you're a kid and you're trying to think of something and you can feel it right there. You're trying to think of the name of somebody and you're like, oh, I can get it. I can get this name. Dude, nowadays, bro, whenever I start thinking about somebody's name and I can't remember it, I just go, I'm not going to think of this and just move on with my life. I don't know what else to do. My brain doesn't work the same way anymore. I make improper decisions all the time, just stupid ones in the moment because I'm not really thinking. I zone out playing video games more than I absolutely ever have. And I honestly have more fun playing video games now than I ever have in my entire life.
there isn't always the
Nothing has given me more dopamine than just letting go. I've been playing Zenless Zone Zero, and just the amount of dopamine that they pump into you with the amount of pulls that they give you, I don't care if I only get 25 hours out of that game. I don't care if I only get 15 hours out of that game. What I've gotten already in the first 12 that I've put into it has been so enjoyable to me and so low maintenance and low effort for me to play it. And then the amount of, I've gotten 5-star characters, S-rank characters already, and it's so fun to do pulls in a game like that, just pulling the slot machine down, dude. Like I just don't care the way that some people do, honestly. And I think that you all should really get on that train of just don't care so much. Don't only base your worth on how well you've done at RuneScape. Don't base your worth on how maxed out your account is or whatever. Play the game until you're bored and then play something else, dude. It's so fun to ask somebody, what game do you play? And they're like, oh, you probably, I don't know if you've, and I'm like, dude, try me. And they're like, oh, I play Valorant. And I'm like, yeah, I've played Valorant. Or they're like, oh, I play Fortnite. I'm like, yeah, of course I played Fortnite. Oh, I played Dead by Daylight. Yeah, I've put 700 hours into Dead by Daylight. Oh, I like all these games, dude. If you can talk about a game that has been popular in the past 5 years, I have probably put 20 to 30 hours minimum in it. Absolutely base minimum, just to see what the game's like so that I can talk to people about those games because I love video games.
time to sit there and think and debate really what is the right choice. Ultimately, they're having to go with their gut reaction. And I learned when I was playing StarCraft 2, sometimes you just have to make a choice.
Yeah, dude.
Whether
Any
or
choice.
not it's the right choice.
How quick you can make a choice
doesn't
is
always
one of the
matter. You
most
don't
important
always have
things
the
in your
time.
life.
Sometimes just making a choice is the right
Yeah.
choice and sticking
Flip a
with
coin,
it.
bro. If you
Even
have
if
two
that decision
choices,
led
just
to me,
go
like,
with one of them.
stimming my
Who cares?
Marine army into a bunch of banelings and losing
What's
the
that
game.
poem from, is it Edgar Allan Poe or is it Robert Frost, the road less traveled or whatever? Hold on. Let's see what this, the road, I can't type today. The Road Not Taken, that's what it's called. That's what it's called. God, can we get a full... Okay. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I stepped the first for another day. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way. I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So, if you're someone who doesn't quite key into the idea of poetry, what they're saying is that whatever choice you make affects who you are. And you often never get to go back and make another choice, but the choice really doesn't matter. You're going to be somebody no matter what, and you're going to have a life. There's a thought experiment that you can do where you can imagine a choice that you take taking you to two completely separate different places, but both of those separate places are going to have their own unique set of challenges, their own frustrations, their own disappointments, their own high joy moments, their own loves and laughs and goofs and gaffes and all of those things. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Your life gets lived regardless of whether or not you're super planning it out or whether or not you're living off of pure instinct. So just go for something, dude. Have pizza tonight, have Chinese tomorrow, have burgers the next day. If you had burgers today, if you had burgers today, pizza tomorrow, and Chinese the next day, is it really going to make that big of a difference in your life? Probably not.
It was still better that I made a choice rather than sitting in indecision. Because I probably would have lost
vaguely
the game
different,
either
you know,
way.
but who cares?
I've been doing YouTube now
you.
for 10 years, over 10 years, actually. I started in college, and one thing I have learned, and it's something I need to hear regularly, and I hope you hear this too, stop putting unfair pressure on yourself
Totally.
and on your free time.
100%.
If you want to play a game,
This is what I've been preaching this whole time.
just boot anything up.
Yep.
There isn't a wrong
There we
choice.
go.
Seriously.
Look at him. Look at
Maybe
me
you
and
didn't
him.
pick the ultimate perfect selection.
There's only one way a video can go, so of course I predicted it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's making this video, there can only be one point because the answer is the answer that it is. There is nothing else. Obviously, I've predicted it.
And then you didn't get the most enjoyment out
That's
of
why we watch the React videos, baby, because we like to have someone to break it down for us as it's happening so we don't get lost in the moments. Keep me
hour.
engaged. I
But
have no
just
attention span.
Giving yourself some
Bring up
you
the Subway
time
Surfers.
to recharge is what matters. Hey, and also, if you boot up the game and you don't feel like playing it and you want to just watch YouTube or whatever, go do that.
Yeah, that's fun too, dude.
You
You know
need-
how many times I've gotten 20 minutes into a game and then just pulled out my phone and started watching TikTok? To be completely honest, I mean, and I'll do this. This is really exposing myself here. I'll put on a podcast or a video and just let it play on my phone while I'm playing a video game because I know me well enough that I don't care about the story 9 times out of 10. If it's a game like Disco Elysium, like I am just reading it like a book because I love absolutely everything in it. If it's a gacha game, if it's an MMO, I couldn't care one iota less about the storyline in that game. I know you took 5 hours to make that story. I'm not going to give you 100 hours of my undivided attention. I'm here for the treasure chests. I'm here to pull good characters. I'm here to engage in combat. I'm here to rank up my skills. I'm here to get gold. I'm here to talk a little smack to people in the guild. I'm here to make friends and be like, yo, I'm going to run every single boss on Necrom in the next 30 minutes. Who wants to gang up? And then you just make little groups, and that's what I'm here for. I couldn't care less about the 17th story that I've seen today. I'm going to have a video playing the whole time.
Hear this.
In fact, I used to, when I was raiding, I would go and pause my video from World of Warcraft, or when I was playing League of Legends, in between matches, I would queue up a video and watch it, and then I would go and pause it. And nowadays, dude, I just let it play. Who cares if I do good or bad? Who cares? Who cares if I stand in that fire, bro, because I was distracted by something Asmon was saying or something that the spiffing Brit said? Who cares, dude? Just play the game and have fun and enjoy your life and then get on with it, dude, you know? Like, why is it so important to you that you do the absolute best that you can in every single moment of your life? Why is there never a time that you're willing to let yourself relax? What is going on with that? You need to think about these things because you can't burn the candle at both ends. It burns half as long, my guy. That's the whole point of that statement.
You're doing good. You need to be nicer to yourself.
Yeah, dude, you're doing
When
great.
we reach this point where
You guys are all like just doing so much better than the majority of human beings out there. I mean, even if we just say the majority of Americans, do you know how many people in America have absolutely fallen into the trap of just hating each other and hating people who aren't like them, and they disguise it to themselves as all of these new kinds of prejudice, and they don't even realize they're being prejudiced? The majority of you people who watch my videos are thoughtful, interesting, unique individuals that I would love to see what you guys do for your free time, your living, what you eat, all of these things. I'm interested in you as people, and that's such a magical thing that you've done, that you've broken away from this cycle of just jumping into a gang of people who all think the same thing and yell at each other for fun on the internet, and you have become unique, fun individuals. You're doing great. Who cares if you're not making $100,000 a year? Who cares if you're struggling a little bit, bro? I struggle all the time. Everybody struggles, dude. No matter how much money you make, there's going to be problems in your life. No matter how much success you find, no matter how good you do at this game, there's going to be issues, dog. You have friends, family, pets, just any your hobbies, whatever it is that gives you purpose in your life, you have that thing. And like, man, we just really do have to be nicer to ourselves, for real. That is such an absolute hack. I do it in a unique way. I mean, I think it's unique, where I'm nice to myself by thinking about thoughts that would absolutely break most people. I had a conversation with Tiff today, because I go on these long rants to her a lot of times as well, where I said something along the lines of like, how does it make you feel when I talk to you? And she was like, oh, kind of anxious sometimes. And then we started talking about some of the things that I had talked about in that conversation and why they made her anxious. And I totally understand a person who hears from me, someone that has battled anxiety and depression and has come out the other side through a really long journey that took me an absolute like 7-year chunk of my time of being a mess to get through, saying that I don't think there's a quick way out of issues and that you have to go on a personal journey that takes a lot of work is really unnerving to a lot of people. But to me, it gives me comfort because I have gotten through that already and I feel very happy about where I am. So like, you have to find your own way to those moments of solace and to be happy with yourself and to be glad that you are who you are. But like, if you're not someone, I don't know how this video turned into this, but if you're not happy that you are who you are, man, like, you are such a fucking amazing person. And the majority of people would be so glad to have an iota of that peace that you have in your life. An iota of that, and like, you're only feeling this way because you have run out of people to compare yourself to locally that are doing significantly better than you. And so you've started looking onto the internet for those people, and you're looking at the absolute 99.999 repeating percentile of human beings now, and you're comparing yourself to them. And you know what? That might be good for you long term. You might become one of those people one day because of that. But like right now, in this moment, be happy for what you've done, dude, because it's amazing.
We're putting so much pressure on ourselves and our free time. You are probably at a stage right now in life where you are stressed, and there is a bunch of stuff occupying all of your mind space.
Who would have thought?
And
dude,
literally
who
the best thing you
that
can
we'd
do
be
is
able
some
to be
self-care.
stressed about stuff,
And
that we would have enough on our
when
plates.
you have those thoughts of like, what if I'm wasting my time?
There was a
with this
time where I
choice?
thought that I would never be able to do
Just
anything.
push back.
That I was
right
going to
against it.
be
Take that thought,
fighting. I remember at times where I would sit back and dream about like being on Hot Ones or something. That I would dream about what it would be like to play Warped Tour. And I just couldn't imagine a life where I'm actually busy from the things that I've put on my own plate, that they had taken over in such a way that I needed to do them, or else I would fall behind. And like, yeah, that stresses me out, but man, how good to see the world in front of you and shape it in some kind of way to you, you know, to be a part of my family, to have my grandma message me or call me or get through to me through my parents and say, you know, can you come over and do yard work for me and hang out for a little bit? Like, yeah, of course I will, dude. When I was an 18-year-old, a shitty 18-year-old, no one wanted to talk to me. My own family was just leaving me alone. My mom would come to like a show that we did that was at a big festival, and she was like just put off by it. You know, just like, oh, what's up with all that loud, heavy, just, you know, to become something like this is just, you know, who would have thought, dude? Who would have thought we'd make it here? Who would have thought that we as people could age and mature with all of this new technology that we had no idea what it was going to do, with the deck stacked against us, with everyone telling us we were lazy our whole lives? Who would have thought we could make it here?
throw it in the recycle bin of your mind. There's nothing wrong with going back to a comfort game, something you've played 10 times over, something that you love, something that you know gives you.
I have played Tomba 2 so many times that I can beat that game. I used to speedrun that game just not trying to get any kind of record, but just to see how fast I could do it, I got down to 2 hours and 10 minutes for Tomba 2. So if I have 2 hours and 10 minutes, I can experience the entirety of one of my favorite games of all time, bro. That is such a good feeling.
Some enjoyment. At the same
The
time,
Zen
too,
be
if you've got a
slipping,
big
dog.
backlog screaming at you, the game that's been nagging, and you're like, I just gotta finish this game. You know,
Hollow Knight. I need to finish Hollow Knight. That's a game that I never finished because I lost progress in it through corrupted save data, and now I have to go back and play it again. I want to finish Hollow Knight. I need to finish Elden Ring. I need to finish Dark Souls 1 because I've never finished Dark Souls 1. I want to play through Dark Souls 2. What other games in my backlog? Undertale. I've never played Undertale, and I really want to play Undertale. That'll happen at some point for sure.
I got 30 hours into it. I feel really bad I didn't finish it. Everybody loved this game.
Yeah.
Look, if you want to go finish it, sure. But don't force yourself.
No.
You're not
and I
having to-
never will. You know, I know that I want to play those games again at some point, but like, who cares, bro? I got fun out of them.
Write a book report
I beat the praying mantis bosses or whatever, you know, and that was a blast, and I really enjoyed that boss fight.
on a title. Like, case in point, I'm playing through Elden Ring second time right now.
Yeah.
I've talked about it a few times on the channel. I'm loving the second playthrough way more than the first time. I thought the game was brilliant when I was playing it.
I'm playing Elden Ring on a strength build right now, using the big great hammer mace thing, and I could not. It took me 30, 40 tries to beat the Draconic Tree Sentinel the first time I played through that game. And then I came back on this try, and I was trying to fight the Fallen Star Beast, and I just couldn't beat him. Like, I could have if I would have kept putting hours into it, because I was fighting him in torrents, and it was just taking so long, and I was getting so frustrated. You know, it was like 10-minute attempts at it, and I would get him down to like that much left, and then it was like I have to play absolutely perfectly because I have no flasks left, and then I would die, and I would get frustrated, and then I was like, I'm gonna go try to fight the Draconic Tree Sentinel. I know he's gonna beat me too, but at least he'll be beating me in a different way. And then I killed him on the first try, and I was like, bro, what is this game? How does it make it make sense, dude?
It on the Xbox when it came out. But I wasn't looking up guides. I was getting overwhelmed, and I stopped at the game. I'm not going to say exactly where, but pretty far into the game, and I didn't
Magic is
feel
OP.
motivated to pick it back up. But here I am looking at
play a
all these
Magic
videos
build.
online about what an incredible
I'm going to start playing these games with the cheesiest builds that are imaginable. I fell into that Dark Souls trap initially of being the guy who would only play with strength build weapons because that's the only true way to play. And like, dude, you know what? I want to cheese every boss that I can. I think that's the right way to play these games. Why not, dude?
perfect, amazing, superb game it is. Feeling pressure like, oh man, what did I do? I need to go back and finish it. I'm totally missing out on all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, screw that, unfair pressure, right?
Yeah.
It took me 2 years
cares
to go,
what other
all right,
people are
now's the
doing?
time I'm starting a fresh playthrough. And because I was at the spot where I wanted to, not because of social pressures or
Y'all talk about yapping all the time. Y'all don't talk about chirping enough, bro. Some of y'all call me a professional yapper. Y'all be professional chirpers out here, for real. Y'all are out here being like, oh, talking on this game sucks, that game sucks. You're dumb for not. You're a chirper, bro. You're just a bird in my ear. Dip, 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 dip. That's all you're doing, dude. That's all you're doing.
online hype or popularity because I wanted to at the time. I've enjoyed that game 10 times more. This is your reminder. Be nicer to yourself. Stop putting pressure on that free time. Don't worry about making the wrong choice and try and
Yeah.
refill and recharge when you get the opportunity. I look at the audience demographics and the ages of my viewers, and I know these are periods of time where life is hard and stressful.
Mine is different. I have a lot more of the 25 to 34 and a lot more of the 35 to 44s.
Your responsibilities
Less
are
of the 18 to 24, but still some, and then none of this.
growing exponentially. So many things are changing, whether you're fresh out of college or you're having a kid or something like that. A lot
do that?
is changing. And so any opportunity you get to refill and recharge, you should go for. As long as it doesn't disrupt, obviously, the really important things. And in many ways, this video is just as much me talking
Yeah.
to you as it
Don't
is
lose sight of
me
what's
talking
real,
to
for
myself.
sure.
To remind me that when I'm looking at that Steam library feeling guilty, I don't need that. Just boot something up that I love and run with it. So with all that said, I hope you have an awesome start to your weekend. Play something fun, recharge, do whatever. And we'll see you again in the next one.
And that's just the truth about it, man. like, video games are can be this highly competitive, super intense thing that you do, but they can also be a thing that you use to recharge. And I don't think that you should be angry at yourself for allowing yourself to play something that you just enjoy and you just have fun with. And you don't have to think like this is the game that everyone's telling me to play. I hate that game of the month phase that everyone goes through where they're just playing, they played Elden Ring and then they played, Diablo 4 and then they played Armored Core and then they play, just whatever game is coming out this month that is the game that everyone's going to be talking about that month. They just jump to jump to jump. And if you're having a good time, do that. By all means, do that. But if you find yourself feeling like it's overwhelming and you haven't actually made any bonds with the game, pick a game that you actually like and play it for a ridiculously long amount of time, or play it for a little bit and then jump to something else that maybe has looked interesting to you but other people sort of talk bad about. If you want to play Tales of Berseria because that game looks interesting to you, go play Tales of Berseria, man. If you want to play Animal Crossing but you're afraid of what your friends are, just play Animal Crossing, man. Play Stardew, play any game, play Monster Hunter, play any game that looks fun, and just enjoy your time alive because you don't get a whole lot of it. So, just do it, man. Give the video a like, subscribe to his channel too, BBK Dragoon. I don't know. I just discovered him, but this video was cool. So enjoy yourselves, guys. Be safe out there.